We're back at 8:30 on this Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. Got some great stories coming up for you this half hour, including secrets to living longer and healthier. Our Cynthia McFadden revisits blue zones around the world where people seem to defy the rules of aging to find out what they can teach us about surviving life in a pandemic and how we can stop aging. Back with our series Search for Solutions. 6 months after the coronavirus first turned our world upside down, health experts are warning the worst may be far from over.
But one best-selling author and an expert on longevity says some of the world's oldest people hold the key to living happy and healthily in these challenging times. NBC's senior investigative correspondent Cynthia McFadden is here to explain. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning. Well, this is a fun assignment. National Geographic explorer Dan Buettner has been traveling the globe for decades looking for the happiest, healthiest, and longest lived people. And he says those 80, 90, and even 100-year-olds have a lot to teach us about doing our best and making the most of life in the pandemic. He's traveled to the far reaches of the world.
What was your secret for
to track down the longest lived people on Earth? Exotic places like Ikaria, Sardinia, Costa Rica, which he dubbed blue zones because the people there live as much as 10 years longer than the rest of us.
They're sharp until the very end.
But what can they teach us about surviving, perhaps even thriving, in these difficult times?
Every longevity culture in the world suffered periods of hardship. They went through wars, they went through famines, the same sorts of stresses that we're suffering right now. And that's the lesson for all of us.
Well, Dan, we've been all over the world together, and now we're in our backyard.
You have to travel around the world to discover home, and I guess we've done it.
You know, initially, I think most people just closed the doors, closed the windows, and said, okay, it's just me and whoever lives with me. Is that sustainable? Is that healthy?
No. We know that loneliness is as bad for you as smoking. So if you're chronically lonely, which is to say you don't have at least 2 friends you can count on a bad day, it shaves about 8 years off of your life expectancy.
That's where the people living in the blue zones come in. Over the years, Dan has taken us on his journeys to unlock their secrets. And now he says what they taught us is more important than ever.
One of my favorite memories of our experience in Sardinia is you walking in this small little Sardinian house with 6 women ages 22 to 84 who were baking bread together. And you were stressed, flying across the Atlantic, and I could just see you exuding stress, and within 5 minutes with those women, the stress was nearly cooling at your feet. You saw women connecting socially and sharing hardships and joys. You saw lots of physical activity. I don't know if you remember that woman who had arms like Popeye kneading the bread.
And even in the age of social distancing, Dan says it's still possible to maintain close connections.
Even people connecting like we are right now, Cynthia, on Zoom, having meaningful conversations can actually replace a face-to-face conversation.
In the blue zones, people don't take their elders and put them all together in a nursing home. I mean, that's just not how it works.
They're a contributing member of the family. When they're living at home with you, you can better protect them.
I remember so distinctly being with you and seeing the old couple in Sardinia. I mean, they were well into their late 80s, and there they were in their garden, almost digging away.
Right. In interviewing more than 350 centenarians in all 5 blue zones, one of the activities they all have in common is a garden. It's arguably one of the best activities we can do because it provides us an ongoing nudge for us to water and weed and harvest. It's low-intensity physical activity, and you emerge from the activity with vegetables you're going to eat because you planted them.
Dan says some of the best ingredients for a long and healthy life are in the kitchen, which is why he wrote Blue Zone's Kitchen.
How much red onion did you put in there?
He's written down the recipes that the world's oldest people have eaten for centuries. Okay, so look at this, my well-authored book already.
That took me 2 years, and we captured the diet before it disappears. This is the meal that the longest-lived family in history ate almost every single day of their life.
Oh, does it smell good? I made the minestrone just like we did in Sardinia. Lots of vegetables and lots of beans. You say the blue zones teach us that you got to eat beans.
I am the self-appointed bean king. And I can tell you, in every longevity diet in the world, the cornerstone is about a cup of beans a day. And if you're eating that, it's probably adding 4 years to your life expectancy.
I have a pasta that takes literally 5 minutes.
Dan takes me into his kitchen for a virtual cooking lesson.
Tomatoes from my father Roger's garden, 1/2 of a red onion, and I have fresh basil. This is under $1 a serving.
I'm a big believer where there's hardship, there's opportunity. Not to downplay the hardship we're suffering here, but it does give us an opportunity to relearn the art of home cooking.
That's a pretty good sales pitch. To be healthier and live to 100, eat this way.
And eat deliciously.
And that was dinner. Sorry I didn't save you any. Now, a couple of other things Dan says. If you know your purpose and live it out, that adds 7 years to your life. Exercise in the blue zones. You don't need a gym. You just need to move naturally, walk up and down hills, do housework, work in the garden. Blue zones folks eat until they're 80% full. That's hard to do, but it makes a difference. Dan says since he started eating in the blue zone ways, he lost 20 pounds. And finally, maybe not this early in the morning.
There it is.
Wine. Canada wine in Sardinia adds to the lifestyle. And salute.
Hey, Cynthia, let me ask you one other.
Coffee here, just in case you're worried.
One other quick question. What about people who have dogs? Like if you have a pet, does that extend your life too?
It does. Dan says having a dog, not only when you pat the dog does it make your heart rate go down, but you gotta walk the dog, and you know it really makes a difference. He says having a dog, I don't know if you can see Ernie sleeping on the sofa right behind me, having a dog really makes a difference, so empty those kennels.